Welcome, everybody. I am Gustavo Tolosa, the plant-powered pianist. And this is day 2 of the 5-day series that I'm doing this week. And I just wanted to tell you that I started my journey with Dr. John McDougall, attending the 10-day program that he had live in Santa Rosa, California. That was in August of 2013. And then I was very, very lucky to become and blessed really to become the official webinar host for all the weekly webinars that we did for a few years. And I was able to learn from him firsthand. He became a very good friend and a mentor to me, and I miss him deeply. I am also certified in the START solution, and I presently run a 7-day online program that is live and interactive, like this. And I'm starting one next Monday. I do one every other month. Okay, July 15th. If you're interested in attending, please send me an email and I'll give you all the details. Or you can visit my website. Okay, so this is day 2. And yesterday, day 1, I left off at examples of easy meals. And so if you haven't watched session 1, watch it if you can, because it has a lot of good information. A word of caution is that the emails that I send out may end up in your inbox or may not. Okay, so always check your spam or things like promotions or advertising, things like that, because my emails or the emails from Zoom may be waiting for you there. Okay, all right. So just a quick recap. Yesterday, I mentioned how easy it is to make baked potatoes, and on top of them put mustard and hummus, salsa, sauteed mushrooms with onions, or sauteed spinach with garlic or onions, or a baked sweet potato. Also mashed potatoes with butternut squash and corn, and the potato supreme that I shared with you yesterday. Now I would like to stress something that we do in the 7-day program. We get used to having 5 or 6 servings of greens per day for the nitric oxide to heal the inside of our arteries. That Dr. Esselstyn talks about, and he does with his heart patients. And sometimes this, at first, it may sound overwhelming, but a serving, okay, is the size of your palm. It's small. It's very easy to eat 5 or 6 servings of steamed greens. And for like I said, for the nitric oxide. We won't go into that now, maybe if we have time another day. I teach everybody how to make a simple green mixture, or you can steam greens, or you can do a little bit of roasting, although it's preferred if it's steamed, okay? Also, another easy thing to do, because you can buy them frozen, is hash browns. I love hash browns, always with a side of something green. Potato salad is another thing. I have one that has 3 ingredients, and I'll show you in a few minutes. Potato soup. Another very simple meal, but it's delicious. It's just rice and beans. Rice and beans with salsa on it. And then a little side of greens or a salad or something. It's a very satisfying meal. or rice and veggies. I prefer brown rice, but it could be also, it could be brown basmati rice. It could be other rice, types of rice. We also eat something that I call burrito bowl, and it's very easy to make. It starts with rice at the bottom of a bowl, and then you pile up the things that will go inside a burrito. So it has black beans or kidney beans or any other bean that you like. So it's the rice and the beans, then shredded lettuce, shredded lettuce, tomatoes, maybe sliced onions, corn, salsa. Okay, that's a burrito bowl. We also have another version of an Asian type bowl. These are things that you have the ingredients, and we learn how to just have those simple ingredients in the refrigerator. I also teach you how to make a fajita mix. That's all of this, or most of this, is in my YouTube channel. And then you put the fajita mix on this burrito bowl. It's just delicious. I tell you, you can eat this several times a week and you're not going to get tired of it, okay? Soups and salads are also, it's another strategy that I teach. If you are having trouble losing weight, you know, yesterday we were talking about reaching a plateau or feeling like no matter what you do, you can't lose weight. Well, there are always reasons. There are always reasons. I mean, yes, genetic makeup is one, but there are reasons. And sometimes when a coach can look at your food journal, we can spot things and fix them. It's not that difficult. I do a one-time coaching session, or there are other coaches. It doesn't matter really who it is, but someone who can look at it from outside is good. Yes, thank you for writing that. I would always recommend to check your thyroid, because that could be an issue with not losing weight. So you want to check that. All right. So one of the strategies that I teach is that before you eat your main starch meal, because we all know that starch is our fuel. Without starch, we just wouldn't be able to function daily. It's literally the fuel. The other non-starchy vegetables are the nutrition, okay? All the other vitamins and minerals and micronutrients there, but the starch is the fuel. So before you eat your fuel, which is a little bit higher in calories, but perfectly fine. We're not counting calories, we're not weighing things, we're not measuring things, because if we eat really whole food, not processed, whole food, because we can eat a plant-based or a vegan diet, but we can eat it processed, and then that makes it harder to lose weight and to regain health. So as long as you're eating whole foods, that it's, we don't have to worry about too much. There are cases, and that we go on a one-on-one case. But before you eat your starchy meal, what I suggest, if you're having trouble losing weight, is that you will make a soup that has no starch in it. I call it the weight loss soup. And honestly, right now, I don't recall the ingredients. There aren't many, but that's one of the things that we do in the 7-day program. I wouldn't mind sharing that. I'll make a note. I didn't bring it today. So any type of soup or broth that you can have before your starchy meal that will add a lot of water and fiber, which creates bulk, which creates satiety, which helps you detoxify, and which this and which that, a lot of, benefits. Then you are going to notice that you get full faster. And you will notice that that might be the way that you get unstuck. Okay, so non-starchy soups are a good thing to have before a meal, and so are salads. Salads without avocados or olives or corn and anything that has starch, just non-starchy salads. They can have fruit if you want, the salad. In the McDougall program, when it was live, and at True North Health Center, which I try to go as often as I can, the all-you-can-eat buffet, it's sequenced. So you will notice how first you have all the raw vegetables that you can eat like that, or you can make a salad. Then you have the soups. And it keeps going higher and higher in calorie density. And that's a good way to think when you're eating, okay? One of the really powerful foods for breakfast that is going to keep you full for a long period of time is beans. This may sound strange to have beans for breakfast, but you know what? Unless you try it, you won't know. Okay, I thought at some point that it was kind of weird, and to eat veggies for breakfast, I thought it was kind of disgusting until I tried it, and I just tried it for 2 or 3 days, and then I love it. Okay, so beans for breakfast. Beans have a lot of fiber, a lot of energy, and they have protein. That's why we need to be careful with beans, because you don't really want to go over a cup of beans a day. That's what Dr. McDougall would recommend. Even though it's plant protein, still remember that protein is one of those things that the body does not store. Our bodies can store carbohydrates. It can store fat very well, but protein doesn't store it. So every day our kidneys and other organs have to overwork and overwork and overwork to get the extra protein out. And most of us that are not athletes or run marathons weekly, we don't need much protein. Okay, so beans have plenty. So beans, I think, is a really good choice for breakfast. Beans and greens is perfect. You can have some quinoa and beans, rice and beans. Also, veggies for breakfast. You can roast veggies, and you can not only use them for breakfast, but then for lunch, if you have rice, you can put the roasted veggies on the rice with some delicious balsamic vinegar, and things become easier because you're thinking about meal ideas and not complex, recipes. If you haven't tried oat groats, I would highly recommend that you try oat groats. You have the regular oatmeal, and then you have the steel cut that is less processed. And then you have oat groats, which is the actual grain as it comes out of the plant. And it looks like rice. If you don't look careful, you think it's brown rice, but it is the actual groats. That is what we're talking about when we call whole food. It hasn't been cut, it hasn't been smashed, it hasn't, nothing. It's the actual groats. If you haven't tried it, this may be an amazing discovery. They're extremely creamy and delicious, okay? And you eat it like you eat oatmeal. Another delicious dish that I also have in my YouTube channel, and it's in the book that Shada and I wrote. It's the baked polenta that my grandmother used to make. It is one of the most comforting dishes that you will try, and really, really delicious and quite easy. Polenta doesn't take more than 5 minutes to cook. Okay, stews like lentil stews or any other stews are also good because you can make enough to eat for a couple of days or to freeze. I'm going to show you some photos in just a minute, okay? But before that, let's talk about some strategies, okay? First, let me tell you that you can sign up for my email list from my website. I've seen that some of you have signed up for my email list. Like I said earlier, I'm not going to flood your inbox with emails because I don't send a lot of emails. But when you go to my website, which is plantemas.com, okay, then you would go to click on subscribe, okay? Click on subscribe and you'll subscribe to my email list. But there is a catch here. Make sure that you accept the terms and conditions. And there is something there that says something like decline commercial messages. I'm really not going to send you commercial messages. I'm not going to, again, flood your inbox. But if you decline that, then my emails are not, you won't get them. So I just want to clarify that because some of you ask me why you're not getting my emails. Well, that's why. You've got to accept the terms and conditions. Okay. So strategies. Here are some strategies that have worked for me and have worked for other people that I've coached and that have worked for 2 years now that I've been running my 7-day program. Number one is eat when your body gives you the signal. This may sound so basic and yeah, sure. But a lot of times I have found myself eating just because it's supposed to be lunchtime. I mean, I'm sort of hungry, but I'm really not hungry. But just because it's lunch, I ate lunch. Or breakfast, sometimes I used to eat breakfast because it was brainwashed and that I had to eat breakfast. And that's not true. Your body tells you when to drink. Your body tells you when you're sleepy and need to sleep. And your body will tell you when you're hungry. Now, at the present time, breakfast is one of the things that I often skip because I'm just not hungry. And I am not going to eat just because it's supposed to be breakfast time. So that is one of the topics that we talk about in the 7-day program. And we actually go a little more in detail and learn how to recognize these signals and just eat when you're hungry, okay? So that works for some people. For other people, they need a different strategy because they say, well, if I eat when I'm hungry and I skip a meal because I'm not hungry, then the next meal I overeat, I eat so much, then I feel like sick of eating so much. So for other people, the other strategy is to eat smaller meals, okay? 6 little meals a day or 7. And that in that case, you would eat even if you're not hungry. The idea here is that your stomach and your brain will be calm and will be full throughout the day so that your cravings are either going to disappear or are greatly going to diminish, okay? For me, it doesn't really work, that strategy. But one of the things that I mentioned yesterday is that there are as many strategies and styles of eating as there are people. So that's something that you may not have thought about, but it is important, okay, to learn to start listening to your body. Another thing important is knowing what to mix. I'm surprised that sometimes people tell me that they're not losing weight, and then I find out that they're putting guacamole on a baked potato. Okay, you don't mix foods that are high in fat, even if it is plant fat. You don't mix high fat foods like nuts and seeds or nut butters or avocados with starchy foods because that promotes weight gain. The best way to eat those high fat foods, like let's say avocados, is to put them in a salad, something that doesn't have starch. Or also you can put some nuts and seeds in a salad, but or eat them by themselves. Okay, but try not to combine those two things because that can be one of the reasons why you're stuck. Okay. Also, yesterday we talked about water and fiber, and I cannot stress enough this one concept. Water and fiber are crucial for weight loss and for keeping the weight off. Juicing is okay. It's not that it's unhealthy to drink juices, but it is much better to eat the whole fruit because in the whole fruit, you have intact fiber and intact water. Without the fiber, there is a lot of the volume gone, okay? And the fiber is what creates bulk. So then you will eat more. Same with water. Okay, so foods are higher in calories and sometimes higher in fat. Plus, if they don't fill us up, then we eat more. So always try to eat, well, what I was saying earlier, whole foods, foods that have all of the water and the fiber in them. Okay, so those are some of the strategies, ideas, and I have some more here that I'm going to show you. And let me share with you my screen here. Okay, I still have people coming in, so I'm letting them in. Okay, can you combine nuts and seeds on your oatmeal? You can. If you're trying to lose weight, I would run. This is another strategy that we do in our 7-day program. We learn to run little mini experiments on ourselves. This is it's fun, and it is very eye-opening. So if you're having trouble losing weight, do a little experiment, and for 1 week or 10 days, try to not put nuts and seeds in your oatmeal. And then see what happens. If the scale moved down, then that means that was the thing. That was what was slowing down your weight loss. So those kind of things, we just have to isolate them. You don't want to run 2 or 3 mini experiments at the same time because then you're not going to know which one is working and which one is not. Okay, so for me, which I tend to gain weight very easily, then I don't combine nuts and seeds in my oatmeal. Okay, but otherwise, it's perfectly fine to combine. Okay, so let's see. Let me show you some pictures because I think that pictures are fun and they can teach us a lot. Plantemas. Plantemas means plants and music. That's how I created it with Dr. Diego Ponyman, okay? And this is just easy meal ideas. So here is a creamy mashed potatoes, and this one is made with those red potatoes, and I left the skin on. And you just want to use, once they're cooked, you want to get the liquid out and mash them, and then start adding the liquid from the potatoes gradually until you get the desired creaminess, okay? Or you can add a little bit of some kind of plant milk. Just make sure that the plant milk that you're buying doesn't have oil in it, or salt or sugar, which are commonly added to those. And you really don't want to add that. Okay, this is a very common meal for me, which is baked sweet potato and baked potato, and then some sort of a salad. In this case, I think this day all I had was lettuce and tomatoes, but usually it's a little more something else. Okay, but that's a perfectly delicious and satisfying meal. This is my grandmother Aurora's baked polenta. And they're different. This one here on the left is from one time. This one in the right is another time where I had some guests who were coming. And so I splurged and I added some black olives on top. I usually don't add fatty foods, like I was saying, like olives with starch. But in this case, it was for a special occasion. Okay, and this is another version of the same one. And this one had sauteed greens with garlic on top. So it's just delicious. These are the crunchy potato, baked potato balls, and they have a filling inside. Okay, so I make mashed potatoes. I make a little ball, then with the finger, I make a hole, and in there, I put some sauteed spinach or whatever green I want inside it. And then you can leave it like that, or you can have, let's say, some ground up oats and maybe with some spices and cover them and then put them in the oven or in the air fryer. Okay? And they're really delicious. When you make something like this, make sure that before you eat this, you're having soup or salad or steamed veggies before it, because this has less water. And so you don't want to fill up just with this. You want to be kind of like a treat. So make sure you have some water, something with water before it, okay? Let me just do a quick here, a little mini commercial. Just wanted to remind you that this is the book that Shada and I wrote. And we always say this, okay? One bite at a time, one meal at a time, because sometimes when we fall off the wagon, we want to say, oh, I messed up today, so I just keep messing up today. Well, that's not what we teach. We teach that the very next bite that you put in your mouth, okay, you're back on, and then you stay on. So we're all human. Sometimes we fall off, okay? But then the next bite, you're gonna get you're gonna get a tangerine, you're gonna get an apple, or you're gonna get something, and you're going to clean your palate and get back on. So you can get our book. Of course, my dear friend Shada and myself, that's a few weeks ago when we were in California for the book release party. And when you get the book in Amazon, you send us the proof of purchase, and this is what you get. Let me tell you, this is it turned out to be more valuable than we thought, because Shada kept all of her rice recipes for this, and her famous tahdig, which is a type of rice that is crunchy. If you like crunchy foods, you want to learn how to make tahdig. It is amazing. And she is the only one that figured out how to make tahdig with no oil, because usually it has tons of oil. So you get those recipes, and then you get my recipes, which are most of them, of the 5, there's 5 recipes from Shade and 5 from me. There are desserts that my grandmother made, or there's a couple that maybe I came up with. All right, so remember to claim your bonus. It was supposed to go out by July 1st, but we're extending it until the end of the month. Okay, and then this is going to be yeah, taken out. All right. So again, you can go to Amazon. If you type my name, the book comes up. If you type Shada's name, or you can just put "Live Your Healthiest Life" and you'll get there. Okay. These are, I love eggplants. I don't know if you do, but if you do, these are stuffed and baked eggplants. And this is also in my YouTube channel. You just have to go there and scroll down. And if you sometimes, if you cannot find one of these meals, just send me an email and I'll find it and send it to you. I don't recall exactly all the ingredients because then, I mean, this is not the type of webinar where I'm going to give you ingredients for every recipe, but I remember using oats and of course I cannot cook if I don't have onion and garlic, so we've had that, and some red peppers and most likely mushrooms because I love mushrooms. So, and then in the background, you can see that I had some fresh corn and salad. So there's other things that have more water and fiber intact. And this is really one of my most favorite meals because the combination of steamed broccoli with sweet potato, I think that is a match made in heaven. It's absolutely amazing, especially if you have a very good flavored balsamic vinegar for the cauliflower. The cauliflower is one of the greens, is one of the things that will heal the endothelium, you know, the lining inside your arteries. It can get healed according to all of the research that is published in medical journals. This research done by Dr. Esselstyn. But you've got to get greens several times a day so your arteries are constantly bathed in nitric oxide. And one of the ways to really activate the greens is with a little drizzle of some kind of acidic element in the balsamic vinegar or just apple vinegar, or it could be just lemon juice. All right. This is my potato supreme invention, okay? The layered one, the one that I talked about yesterday, layers of onions and potatoes and onions and potatoes and garlic, potatoes, and maybe some red peppers. And then you finish it off with a lot of chopped parsley. And it's simple, but one of the most delicious meals that you get. Very starchy. So again, if you're dealing with weight loss frustration, you always want to have something before this. You want to have a non-starchy soup, or you want to have some salad. You want to have something that will have a lot of fiber and water. My grandmother was from Valencia, Spain, and this was her Valencian rice, which is a simplified paella. Okay, it's rice, but my goodness, this one is an actual recipe. Okay, and it's not complicated, but it is here. It's in the book. Okay, when I talk about my grandmother. These are also wonderful little fritters, although they're not fried, and they're made entirely with butternut squash. It's butternut squash that you steam and then you mash it, and you would add some ground up oats, and I like to add raisins. Okay, and that's it. And then you can add something like a little bit of vanilla or cinnamon, and you mix it all up and you make these little, fritters like that, and they go in the oven. And I just eat them like that, or you can dip them in some kind of what is it called? Syrup, or in this case, because I had some guests in the house, I put a little bit of powdered sugar, but that was for them. Usually, for me, I just eat them like that. Very easy to make. Okay. This is what I call simplicity at its best because it's just a sweet potato that is being baked, and then you fluff it up and you put slices of bananas. And that can be a snack, it could be a dessert. If you add a side of greens, it could be a meal. So I hope that you're getting the idea that it is easy. This doesn't have to be complicated. It can be simple. I'm not the kind of person that likes to start a fire, a grill, okay? But when every now and then, when someone invites me to a cookout, I take big containers of vegetables that I can, that they can grill. And I take big containers because guess what happens? Everybody wants to eat them because they look so good, they smell so good, and they taste so amazing that they end up not eating their horrible stuff, and they eat they eat my veggies. So I make sure that I take enough. Okay, so you have some red onion, and you have some corn on the cob, and zucchini, and red peppers, and mushrooms, whatever, sweet potatoes as well, whatever you want. Okay, this is very important because greens don't have to be spinach and Swiss chard only. Okay, this is a complete list of Dr. Esselstyn's greens. Yes, you have chard and kale and spinach, but bok choy, collard greens, beet greens, Napa cabbage, which I love, arugula, asparagus, broccoli, Brussels sprouts. Okay, there are a lot, parsley even. And then there's cauliflower, which is not green, but it's under the, here it's listed as a green because it does produce nitric oxide. Cilantro, okay. So you want to you see, you're not going to get tired. You can eat 6 different kinds of greens in one day, and it's going to be easy. It's not much. Just make sure that you steam enough so that you don't have to be steaming every meal, every day. Then you have them in the refrigerator and they're ready to go. Another thing that I like, but I don't get very often because I'm too lazy to make, but it's still I have all the equipment to make this, but the vegan zucchini,
sushi or California roll?
Yeah, okay, sushi. That's what I was. Sushi, thank you. Yeah, so usually when I get them, it's because I'm at a supermarket or somewhere where the other day I went to a fair outside, and the guy was making, so I can tell him or her what things to put in all these little rolls. Okay, and this is one of my hash brown recipes. It's just, this is the one where I cut the potatoes in little cubes, and then I give them a quick steam, and then I put them in a nonstick pan with a garlic, onion, and then at the very end, I add some greens. And I guess I had probably like a little bit of red bell pepper that I added there. And then any kind of spices or herbs that you want to add. This is a salad with different, this one has fruit. I like to add pineapple or blueberries or green apples to salads, and it just makes them juicy and it adds that sweetness to them. So that's a really good salad. This is a lentil stew. There are many recipes out there. If you're interested, I can share it with you. You just have to let me know by email. Most of these things that I show you here, you get, and you get to keep if you do my survey program. Here is the oat groats. You can tell that the oat groats there, it looks like rice at the bottom. And this is when I used to like sweet sweet breakfast as opposed to more savory types of breakfast. Every now and then I get a craving for something sweet for breakfast, but for some reason I'm just not interested in sweets anymore. So these are the oat groats and a lot of fresh fruit, which has all the fiber and the water intact. So this is a great breakfast as well. And this is a polenta, different from this is not baked. And this is a polenta that you just cook, and it takes 3 to 5 minutes to cook. And then you spread it on a platter for presentation, or on a plate or a bowl. And then on top of that, you add this mixture, which has of course, it has onions and garlic and tomatoes and greens, maybe some red bell peppers and mushrooms. You just make this green mixture, okay, and a little bit of tomato sauce, and you spread it on it. And I like to eat this for breakfast, okay. It also has, I believe, yeah, this one has black beans. So it's very filling. And the polenta absorbs a lot of water. So you're actually drinking water while you're eating your polenta. Okay? This is my 3-ingredient potato salad. It's potatoes, carrots, and green beans. And then a little sprinkle of either, it could be green onions or it could be parsley. And then I like it with just apple cider vinegar or lemon juice, but I prefer lime juice actually, or some kind of white balsamic vinegar, okay? There are some dressings that you can use that are a little bit higher in fat and calorie, and depending on where you are in your journey, like dressings that have cashews, for example, that makes things very creamy, then you don't want to combine those high-fat foods, dressing with the starch, because it's not gonna help you lose weight. But if losing weight is not a problem, then you can do that. Every now and then I like to eat quinoa just for a change, because sometimes I get tired of the same, rice or same grain. So quinoa, and then again, my green saute. My green saute goes like this. It always starts with an onion. I still think that that's a great title for a book. Everything starts with an onion. Okay. So it always starts with an onion chopped and dry saute or with a little bit of water. And most of the times I have 4 or 5 garlic, cloves chopped. And I saute that for like 5 minutes. Then I add, if I have it, I add some sliced or chopped mushrooms. Or if I have it laying around, I would put like a half or a fourth of a red bell pepper, red or yellow or orange, but that's not required. And then I add the green, whether it is kale or spinach or chard or broccoli or whatever it may be. And I saute for another maybe 5 minutes. You don't want to overcook it because you don't want all the water to evaporate and go away. And again, put a little bit of balsamic vinegar or some kind of vinegar, sprinkle any kind of, spices or herbs that you like. And it is a very filling breakfast for those of us who like savory breakfast, or it can be lunch or dinner, okay? But many times I eat for dinner what I had for breakfast, so it can be both. And it is also here, and this is Gustavo's pot of youth, I call it, because it has ingredients that have a lot of antioxidants, hopefully to keep us looking young. And it's it's like a pumpkin that you carve, and then again, I don't recall, because I don't make these very often. That goes almost, it's not hard to do, because you put all the ingredients there and you bake it, but I don't make it enough to know by heart. But you can really put anything you want. Of course, you want to put things that have a lot of flavor, like onions and garlic and corn, um, some red peppers or jalapenos, whatever you like, and then you cover it and you bake it. And then when you take it out, you take out the filling plus part of the pumpkin, and hopefully the pumpkin is going to have good flavor. Every now and then you get one that it just doesn't have any flavor, and that's, well, you can always sprinkle some herbs or other things to add flavor to it. This is another easy one to make because you can have this in your refrigerator or freezer. You see, cooked beans will last in your freezer for at least 6 months. So there is no reason to be cooking beans every day or I mean, you can. I know that Catherine Lawrence from Food Saved Me, she cooks beans really for like 2 or 3 months in a row. So this is what happens. You already have rice cooked, which also lasts for a long time in your freezer. So you have rice already cooked. You have your beans already cooked. And then you have your green mixture. That yellow thing you see there, or orange, that's just onions. And I put turmeric because I like to add turmeric to a lot of things because it's an anti-inflammatory. So basically it's rice, and I like basmati rice. I like all rice, but I like to change. So that's basmati rice, my green mixture, and beans, and maybe some salsa on it. Okay, so very easy to put together. This is kind of another hash brown recipe, but this one was baked. Okay, it's potatoes cut in little cubes with red peppers and green peppers and onions, and it was roasted, okay, in the oven. And then in the background over there, you see that I always have greens. And you know what? Greens don't always have to be fancy. Sometimes I just not boil them, but steam them, and just eat them with a little bit of vinegar, and that's it. And that one has corn on it. Okay, that can be a breakfast or a lunch, really dinner. This is another easy sauté. Sometimes it's just cleaning out the refrigerator. Okay, it's just what I have at the moment, and in this case, it was again onions and garlic, and then I had cauliflower, I had cherry tomatoes, I had broccoli, mushrooms, and that just everything there is going to release juice. So you usually don't have to add water, but if you do, you're going to add a little bit at a time. And then whatever spices you like. Now, my favorite spices are oregano, garlic powder, onion powder, smoked paprika. I think those 4 are like all the time. And I try to include turmeric in as many things as possible. It could be an Italian mix. It could be one of those things that have 3 or 4 herbs in it. But really, it could be all sorts of things. Okay. Last year I had a zucchini plant in my yard, and I went away for like 4 days. And when I came back, I had a zucchini that was like, I don't know, it was very big. So it was fun to fill it up. This has quinoa and onions and garlic and black beans and corn. I just made a mixture. I stuffed it and I baked it. And in the background, you can see that there is a salad for extra fiber and water. So again, not too complicated to make. And I have this, I know I have this one in my YouTube channel, for sure I have it. This is another easy soup. It's kale and white bean soup. And and it will fill you up. It does have starch because of the bean, okay? So this can really be a meal. It would be good for lunch. I've had this for breakfast as well, okay? Beans take a longer time to digest. So even though there's nothing wrong with eating beans at night, sometimes I tell people to maybe eat the beans for breakfast or lunch, but wait, don't eat them at night because it just takes longer. And we want our body to detox at night. We want digestion to be done by the time we go to bed or we go to sleep, so that the body can concentrate on other things other than digesting food. Okay, so in that PDF that you would get from when you purchase the book, these are some of the desserts that you'll find in the PDF. This is like an upside down apple cake that my grandmother used to make, and I changed it to whole food plant-based. The one in the middle is an orange cake. None of them have white flour. And they have either oat flour or I can't remember now, or they have, oat flour, almond flour, things like that. And one of them, the one to the right, is a very intriguing dessert because when it goes in the oven, it's mostly liquid. And then it has polenta in it. Oh, that was the ingredient, polenta. So the thing that is at the bottom is the polenta. Then in the middle, you get this cream, which is the almond milk. And then you get those apples at the top. It is a very, very surprising dessert. I was happy to see that it worked, even though I wasn't using whole milk and I was using something else. Okay, so now here's my question that I also tell people when we do our program. Would you eat that food that is non-compliant if you saw this on the label? No. If they said that it was poisonous or that it would be killing you, you probably wouldn't. So you know what? What I did a while back is I took a picture of this and I had it in my phone. And when I wanted to pick up that bag of chips at the store, I opened my phone. And I used to have this on my refrigerator as well, even though I don't have things that are non-compliant in my house. But let's say that I have peanut butter, which I told you that it's not a problem for me, but so it can be there. But every now and then, very seldom, I may want to have peanut butter with a banana at night. And even though it's not unhealthy, it's not the thing that I should be doing. So I just look at that, okay? Something visual that will deter you from eating something that is not health promoting. There are other things that we can do, but I think this picture is very powerful. Okay, and then it is important for all of us to drink enough water because water, again, fills us up and it helps us to detoxify and it helps us to reset our taste buds. But you don't have to be drinking 8 glasses of water or 6 glasses. I don't like to drink water when I'm not thirsty. So, and I learned that it's not necessary. If you eat this way that I'm telling you, if you eat whole foods, not processed foods, even if they're vegan, if you eat whole foods with intact water and intact fiber, you're drinking water the whole day. Okay, so as long as you have maybe 2 or 3 glasses of water, you will probably be fine, but you do need to eat it this way. So look at the amount of water that these foods have. They're mostly water, okay? And again, these are some of the greens that I was talking about earlier, like kale and bok choy. That besides the amazing nitric oxides, besides that, they have vitamin A and C and K and They have B5, B6, etc. So look at this. This is another visual, thing here to get an idea of what oil does to food. Okay, there's as much fat in one French fry as in an entire potato. And this is from McDonald's own nutritional information. Okay, so that is why we don't eat oil. It adds tremendous amounts of calories, plus, of course, it damages our arteries. So we try to not eat oil. What oil does to potatoes, look at that. 6, small potatoes have 76 calories only. That's 100 grams. But 100 grams of chips, look how it multiplies. Yeah, it's processed. So processed equals, the word processed means that the water or the fiber or both have been taken out. In this case, the water has been taken out, plus it has oil added. And then people blame supposedly the carbs, when in actuality, the poor potato, is not the fault of the potato. This is something that I saw once in one of the conferences that I attended, and I want to share with you. If you're eating this way and not losing weight, perhaps you need to consider look at what you're eating and see if there aren't any hidden sources of oils or other fats, and that you're not eating them with starches or carbohydrate foods. The other thing that will slow down your weight loss, and I can talk about this for my own experience, is flour products, especially white flour. And of course, I hope that none of you are eating dairy, because dairy is at the top of the list for really horrible, poisonous, disease-promoting foods, if we can call it a food. And then one of the things that for some people makes a big difference is to stop eating late at night. Okay, so do your very best to stop eating by, well, at True North and many other programs, they stop by 6, but by 7 p.m. We usually say 4 hours before you go to bed. So if you go to bed at midnight, maybe you can stretch it and go to 7:30 or so, but you really want to be done so that your body can get started with nighttime fat burning. Okay. And I love this here. I really think it's totally 100% true. Disease runs in families because eating habits run in families. And when I hear people say, oh yeah, well, I have diabetes because in my family there's diabetes. No, in most cases, type 1 diabetes, we have to make a difference between type 1 and 2. But in most cases, it's just that the recipes are being passed on from generation to generation, and those foods create certain costs and certain illnesses and diseases, and that's what's running in families. So I think that's very, very true. And I saw this once in a doctor's office, and I also want to share this to you. Look at the one at the very bottom. That's an artery that is almost totally clogged up, and that's a keto artery. That happens through time. It doesn't mean that after your second day of eating this amazing keto diet, you're going to get that way, but it happens through time. It may take years. An omnivore artery is not much better. A vegetarian artery, because some vegetarians eat eggs and cheese, is still clogged up. And then we have a vegan, but I would say a whole food, plant-based vegan artery, which is pretty much clean. this was helpful for you to see some of these pictures. And I know you've been writing comments here, and I wasn't able to read them because in the screen I had the other things. So let's see here. How about making your own chips, air fryer or microwave? I would say air fryer or oven. I don't, maybe tomorrow or the day after, I'm going to talk a little bit about microwave. I am a person that I'm constantly learning, and I want to learn about the new science and new discoveries, and sometimes well, I saw this with Dr. McDougall as well. Someone who is always looking for the truth and to improve. Sometimes we have to change our beliefs. We may have thought at one point that something was good, and then because science keeps advancing, and if there is enough proof, then we have to change our mind. So I changed my mind about microwave. Okay, so but yes, you can make the most delicious and crunchy chips without using oil and frying them. Okay, so when you purchase the book, I see somebody here. Send a proof of purchase to that email that the email that I showed earlier, which is basically it is LYHL. Okay, so you have to type LYHL, then the word bonus at yahoo.com. I'm sorry, I don't have that slide in front of me. Okay, but when this replay goes out, which I email it to you, I'll put that there. Okay. All right, everybody. I know I went over a little bit. Let's do this because I'm talking too much. So tomorrow I want you to ask questions and have a Q&A, so you can ask more. And this coming Sunday, I am the featured speaker for the Hawaii Vegan Society. And so I'm going to be talking about the book and strategies, and I'll play a little bit of piano. And this is open to everybody. So I'll send you the information in case you want to log in. It's at 5 p.m. Central Time. That is at noon p.m. in Hawaii. But if you live in Central Time, it's 5 p.m. In the East Coast is 6. Then you can go backwards, 3 p.m. in the Pacific. All right, so we should not eat beans at dinner time based on digestion. These are the things that sometimes I call, let's not major in minor things. This is a minor thing, but these are the little minor things that can sometimes make a big difference, depending on what kind of challenges you have. Once you've lost your weight and you're maintaining it, eating beans at night will be okay. I'm saying if you're having trouble with weight loss, maybe leave the beans for during the day when you have enough time to digest and burn the energy that they have. But please don't get the idea that I'm saying that don't eat beans at night, because it's not good. They just take a little longer to digest. And one of the things that we do in my program is we focus on detoxifying the body. So we want the body to completely focus on detoxifying while we're sleeping and not be working on digestion. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I will see you hopefully tomorrow, and I'll be sending you the replay. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Appreciate it. Okay. Bye-bye.